Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I wanted to talk about the first 4 episodes of the Peacemaker TV series on HBO Max. Peacemaker is a TV show directed by James Gunn, and it takes place after the events of the Suicide Squad. Peacemaker, played by John Cena, is fresh off of having killed Rick Flag and having a building dropped on him and being shot through the neck by Bloodsport. After recovering in a hospital, he gets out and then finds himself confronted by this team comprised of a couple members from the Suicide Squad Overwatch team, including Amelia Harcourt and John Economos. This team's mission is to find and eliminate Project Butterfly. I enjoyed James Gunn's revival of the Suicide Squad and was interested when I heard that they were making a Peacemaker TV series, so I thought I would check it out. Because we're only halfway through the season, I'm going to analyze what I normally do, understanding that these things might end up changing as the rest of the season comes out. So without further ado, let's get into the 6 things that make a TV show great. 1 is the plot. The plot of this show is just as simple as the Suicide Squad was, which is basically get a team together, go and eliminate this threat, do your best not to die. Except now it's more the team matters, they don't want them dead, but it is basically go and assassinate these people who are being called butterflies, and we don't know what that means, we don't know what that is. By episode 4, there are a couple different subplots that start developing, including the relationship between Peacemaker and his father, Augie, played by Robert Patrick. I like the use of the simple plot with a couple subplots lingering in there, but it really seems like they do have pacing issues so far with the plot, which has me slightly concerned because of the amount of filler in each episode that they've had. 2 is family friendliness. I feel like I don't have to talk about family friendliness that much because it's not. There's constant profanity, a ton of explicit nudity, violence, gore. It's pretty much maxed out at every single level you can be against family friendliness. I'm not ignorant to the fact that this is this kind of TV show, but it really seems like they just dialed everything up to 11, and it's pretty hard to watch. 3 is acting and script. So far, the acting is really well done. The character that they are asking Peacemaker's father to portray is not one that would be easy as a decent human being to allow yourself to step into. He's very racist, very mean, very unkind, and it would be very difficult to step into that role and pretend to be those things for the sake of a part. So huge props to him because he does a great job and it's believable. Amelia Harcourt does a great job as well. The script, I'm just going to go ahead and say it, this script is one of the worst I've ever seen in my life. I feel like I can mention this because it's not really spoiler territory since you find out in the first episode, but you find out that Leota is the daughter of Amanda Waller. Now that would be really interesting except for what they try to do in this. Instead of adding an interesting and cryptic and double agent type character that would be reporting to her mother being Amanda Waller, Leota is the most out of place, untrained, unprofessional, irrelevant character, and unfortunately they spend a great deal of time trying to make her relevant in addition to making her character check every social box that they can. She is by far the biggest issue that there is with this TV show as far as the script goes, but in addition to that, the dialogue between characters is garbage. There was one scene that seemed to last for at least 10 minutes of one of the first interactions between Vigilante and Peacemaker since he left the hospital. It wasn't subtle humor, it wasn't convoluted humor, it was literal nonsense. There's no humor in it. It's just, why is the ocean blue? Because birds can fly, and so can penguins, but not owls. What the frick are we talking about here? It's nonsensical bantering back and forth. It makes you drop to a negative IQ. I swear. It is trash. I think I've ragged on it enough, but maybe not quite. It sucks. It's garbage. By the end of episode 4, I'm not to the point where I'm saying it's redeemable, and I don't think I will be. It just got slightly more interesting, especially with the character of Vigilante. 4 is character development. One of the most enjoyable parts about this show is that they're able to dive into the backstory of Peacemaker and finding out why he is the way he is, kind of going through the crisis of identity that he's having, because after having killed Rick Flag, it really seemed to take it out of him and make him question so many of the things that he has stood for and that he's doing. That is interesting. Touching on the relationship with his father and with his friend the Vigilante. And it would be absolutely amazing if the show centered around Peacemaker. But you want to guess who the show is actually centering around? That's making it seem like Peacemaker is a side character in his own TV show? You guessed it, Leota Abadeo. Because of how irrelevant her character is, unless they had written her differently in the show, they spend so much time trying to make her relevant, and it is all manufactured. She should have never been on this team. She has no field skill, no experience, adds nothing to this team, except for that Amanda Waller vouched for her. And they spend so much time trying to make her character matter that everyone else is in the background. Peacemaker is a side piece to his own TV show, and it's so frustrating. Even with the character development that we get with Peacemaker, there's certain things that don't make sense. For the first 3 episodes, Peacemaker is basically nerfed. He can't do anything right. He's terrible at fighting, being the butt end of a joke. Then, not 1.5 episodes later, all of a sudden Peacemaker is 100% back to being who he was. So why did we go through 3 episodes of him being a completely different character? It's just lazy writing. One of the only enjoyable dynamics of this show is some of the banter between Myrn and Economos and Harcourt. Those 3 characters are great, and they serve the role they should in a TV show that's about Peacemaker. But everyone is taking a back seat to Adebayo. 5 is CG. It looks fine so far. There hasn't been a moment that's pulled me out, but there also hasn't been a moment where they've used a crap ton of CG. And 6 is rewatchability. Because of just how painful it was to make it through the first half of this season, I doubt that I ever would watch it, regardless of how incredible the second half may or may not be. There's nothing interesting that's happening so far, and I don't know if there will honestly be any DC Universe relevance at the end of this TV show either. Thank you so much for watching. Sorry it was one bummer of a video so far, but I watched this crap so you guys don't have to. If you've seen the first half of Peacemaker Season 1, let me know what you thought about in the comments below. Thank you as always for your love and support, and I'll catch you guys and gals in the next one.